Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is European Vassals 4, in which we are trying to form Russia out of Ryazan. And well, it's a little bit unorthodox, but we're doing fun here with this Orthodox nation. Little joke there. But yeah, today I've decided to let the aggressive expansion pile up. Because we are not going to do the single war just here on Sweden. But you know what? Muscovy isn't very willing to let us go in. So we're going to both confirm the war against Sweden, and if Sweden doesn't get access, why not let us try and declare a war on Denmark in order to grow Lithuania. After all, Lithuania at the moment currently hates us. If you give terrain to somebody, yes, they will, in comparison to you, become stronger, which could lead to trouble in the end. But on the other hand, because you give them terrain, they like you a little bit more. And it's mainly that opinion boost right now that I think I need in order to do everything I want to do. Which is not only put a relative on the throne, but also to force them to become Orthodox. Now, in order for a vassal to be forced to change religion, you have to have them be loyal. Therefore, I am more or less pushing them to become loyal via the way of giving them terrain due to a little, teensy little war with Denmark. Now, I assume that one of those two nations will also allow us to get access through Muscovy, because Muscovy, I checked ahead of time, does not grant us access. I wonder why. Yeah, now it's kind of clear why they won't do that, so I hope that they will give access to either Denmark or Sweden, so that we actually can go to Sweden and take back the Novgorodian territories. Hey, hello. Let's not go there. There's an army going to Özel. Which also means that I probably want to send in this army to support those 4.5k at the moment. Yeah, they're going into the attack. I'll let that siege of that province go, because that is not important enough to at least have a bit of a fighting chance. They are going to get a nice little sea crossing penalty, but the event happens. Interesting. And there is our battle. They actually retreated really quickly, I have the feeling. Like, that was like instantly they retreated. Let's go to Özel, see if we can reach it. We can. Excellent. I will take Narva and I will leave an army here to siege in Özel, whereas the... What? Why do I have to go that way around to Revel? Yeah. Oh, great. Wonderful military leader. Not. We have not been successful because we just simply don't lose enough of our manpower. And because we are not a lucky nation, I guess we just don't get good generals. Oh, great. This army is now completely stuck. I should have thought about this. Too eager to give chase and to let them die. But if you have both pieces on one side of a strait, you are allowed to go through, no matter how many people block. So the fact that we've got Özel now allows us to go to Memmingen, which allows us to do whatever the heck we can do. Actually, there, I got access from Muscovy. I don't know why, but I got access. I want to point that out that when I did this, and yes, this once again an after action report. Once again, not my normal style, but I feel like I have to because of the sound quality being unbearable. I was surprised because I tried and it just didn't work, and here we're going to smash some troops from Brabant. Because that's how we pronounce it in the Netherlands. I don't think the Belgian pronunciation is much different, though I don't have their particular accent. But yeah, Brabant. Not Brabant, as I hear some people do. Well, then again, I am butchering also many names, so who am I to say anything? Yeah, I may have a river crossing penalty here, but it is almost a 10-to-1 ratio. It's, well, actually, I'm over-exaggerating, but still, we wiped them indeed out completely, giving some additional war score to our war with Denmark. Hey, a nice little bit of particularists, by the way, as well. And particularists being, of course, the ones stacked here in Muscovy. If Muscovy is trouble, that's good for us. We want them to have trouble. And apparently the Prussians are attacking the Teutonic Order. How unexpected. And they have claims all over. There we go, Siege of Revel 1. And then it's time for us to move north towards Sweden proper. Apparently here I don't know how to click things, so that happens. Because of course, our war with Sweden, we haven't gotten a darn thing done yet. We declared the war and didn't move in. It is actually kind of surprising to me. If I were Muscovy, I would not have given access to Ryazan, because they're only likely to get help here. But let's put a relative on the throne of Novgorod, make sure that they are going to be happier down the line. Right now they're very, very loyal. And they're going to be even more loyal if I get this done. Oh, Bohemia attacking Poland. Well, that might be bye-bye Bohemia. Sorry, bye-bye Poland, not bye-bye Bohemia. No, this is not a strong Poland. We have cannibalized Poland and Lithuania for our own gains. There are also quite some Orthodox rebels over there. And Swedish rebels. Sorry, Swedish troops. Not rebels, troops. And they're moving towards the east. But I don't want to destroy the particularists for Muscovy. So we have to move around. Maybe that's why Muscovy gave us access? Does the AI keep that in mind? Like, oh wait, if they path through that, they might path through my rebels? That would be some higher level programming there. I would approve. I can see a human player doing that, but I wouldn't expect that from an AI, but if that is programmed that way, that would be awesome. Yeah, I can hunt down that stack, but I'm more curious of just destroying whatever I can. There we go. You are moving into Ladoga. I will destroy that there. I also want to keep my large Doom stack. I wanted to say Doom stack, but I don't really feel this is a Doom stack. This is really not that dangerous. Certainly not considering our backwards technology. That nearby the areas that we have now sieged in Denmark before Danish troops arrive and do something weird. The funny thing is that the particularists are actually sieging down Novgorod. They could have been Novgorodian separatists, but they're not. And yeah, I have declared the war for Karelia, so that's a bit of a dumb move. Should have looked at which province I would declare for, but this should be fine. I do not believe Sweden capable of resisting our power. And Denmark, I'm just gonna let it tick until we can get a decent peace deal. I don't mean a lot at all. I just want to give some lands to Lithuania. We don't need to do everything in this particular war. There we go, combine them, attack the Orthodox rebels. I hate to do that in a sense, because hey, the Orthodox rebels, I mean, don't they change troops? I better say, wasn't it so back in the day that religious rebels, when they siege down a certain area, they would convert that territory to that religion? But yeah, here I have decided against it, because all of a sudden I realized that both Danish and Swedish troops are in the backland. I'm trying to tell people to, like, attach to my army, because the Novgorod troops are not moving. But yeah, that is giving me a little bit of a, well, what now? Thing, because I still want to react towards this happening. And here we have the unfortunate thing that for some reason, I still can't remember that this happened. Like, why are these rebels, these Muscovite particularists, moving to Swedish territory in order to fight us? It is, I can't even get out. And that's because of Viborg not being ours. I can't get out. But yeah, this is really annoying. And I'm trying to tell Kazan, okay, just attach to my troops. But then all of a sudden he decides to move differently. And I'm like, what the heck? But maybe he was wanting to attach to this. But yeah, there they are. The particularists attacking us. And I just lack here a front line. So they're directly attacking my cannons. Which of course is lovely for the cans. No, it isn't. But there we go. We defeated Muscovy's particular risk. So maybe, hey, maybe. That was a smart idea. And now I feel like I need to attack the Orthodox Zealots because I need to be able to siege Vyborg. And here we move to the back of our quite significant nation to see what would happen. But this is a bad idea. Despite the fact that actually the rebels have the terrain disadvantage, we lose. And even if we would have won, I think that Denmark then would have just jumped on us with that 12 stack on top there. So that was great. As I split off a besieging army over here and see if I can catch some people out here. But yeah, this is actually giving us a little bit of a trouble within the war, as Brabant, as you may have noticed there in the left corner, actually moves up towards the Danish Baltic lands. Which also isn't what we want to see. So basically this war, maybe I shouldn't have declared both wars, because it's definitely giving me some trouble. As I attack the Swedish troops at least, and here catch them out. But that battle isn't going very smoothly as well. They hold out much longer than I like to. The terrain penalty apparently is helping them more than I like, because we're attacking into a forest. And I thought, I didn't check that ahead of time, because I thought all of these lands were steppes, but apparently they're not. But there you go, they move south, and that gives us a method of insta-wiping them out, which is really cool. But yeah, that siege army of mine that won't be able to deal with the Brabant troops, so we're gonna have to see what we can do with that. And in fact, I don't even need my large army here to... Oh, yeah, movement issue. I cancelled the movement too late, which is why I like to pause a lot, because I like to have control. But yeah, well, at least the Swedish troops have been utterly annihilated, giving us a reprieve in that war. We will get there whenever we need to get there. And the Novgorod troops still not doing anything. As unfortunately, the Zealots probably are going to siege Kexholm, which is... if those Orthodox Zealots... if you would be those Orthodox Zealots, I can imagine you also don't immediately want to stand on the side of Ryazan, but on the other hand, we are freaking an Orthodox nation. Shouldn't we be more like, okay, you do you, I will let you keep Vyborg, let us siege the other things, please. But they're like, nope. And here I'm hoping to get to the Brabant troops before they de-siege Revel. Because if we can keep Revel, we will probably can keep Özel. And otherwise, I won't be able to grab that island most likely again. Oh, great. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but I don't want to lose stability. Because Özel, there are a lot of Danish troops, and you can see Swedish troops constantly being stationed in the Gulf of... I think it's Gulf of Özel even. So... I'm a little like, please, no. And there we have even more additional forces being available to us. In that sense, Ryazan has enough good ideas that it will be able to feel like a proto-Russia, if you will. 21% chance, of course, and there's sieging is going excellently, because it's the AI. What did I expect? But we here have a large enough army that I'm willing to try. And Novgorod still on aiding me doesn't do a darn thing. They're more sleepy than they are really aiding me. I really should have gone in here. I don't know if... I do seem to make it. I didn't remember anymore. And of course we will take the royal marriage of Prussia. But it was a bit of a risk, because like in XCOM, 90% chance to succeed is always miss. It feels to me like a 25%, 30% chance for a siege in EU4 for the AI is always a success. And here I do not feel comfortable enough due to our technology to actually attack. I couldn't even remember that I'd done this. So I actually give up Revel. I would have attacked. I mean, I can see me wiping these stacks here, but... don't think that this was the smart idea. Though, the Danish troops are considering leaving. And now comes the big scary part. Can we still get to Özel before Revel falls? And the answer is no. Which means that very soon, if we want to get to the island is going to be besieged, because a Revel will take care of that. Alright, give that to Novgorod as the rebels are sieging there. I don't really want to attack them, but I feel like I can't really do anything else. And there are enough troops from Kazan and over here in Lithuania that we have a bit of a front line. But yeah. Handy is different. And here something happens that is what I would love to see, and then they think the better of it, and they were almost splitting up their forces, which would have been excellent. But it might have been handy actually if I kept a few units on Özel. And I do mean a few, because if I kept only 2, they probably would have been smacked, because they would have turned around and destroyed them. Like Brabant is now moving to Özel. And I feel forced here to move, because I can see that Danish army moving up north. So this is far from pleasant. But yeah, we do now have a majority of people. They still have a terrain penalty. The Orthodox Zealot rebels. That's it, sorry. And here we are doing a little dance with the troops from Brabant. Because Brabant, yeah, they can move which way around without being opposed. And that makes them decide to go... well, to have a little dance with our major force, which, you know, I can't really blame them. If you are 7,000 troops, and you know that you're facing a force of 30,000, more or less, I would also try to maneuver out of there, because that's not a favorable battle to take. But at least we're now getting to have Sweden siege enough of Swedish lands, but you can be certain already within this war, because we see them, the Danish troops, also moving around here. So I also really don't want to stop moving them as one. So ending the attach button and getting a carpet siege going. Even though I know Swedish troops are very few in number. So, typical strategy, Whitley. A sieging army in that area, and oh, lovely, they immediately destroyed the walls in Moskova. Because why wouldn't the AI have that luck? I don't know all the nations in EU4 that are lucky nations, and sometimes I find that really annoying. On the other side, I find that, like, it makes the game go a little bit more historically correct, of course. Enough things go already wrong, even with lucky nations on, that you cannot be certain what is going to happen. And here I do dare, because I just saw the 12k stack move towards Stockholm from Denmark, to try and move everybody out. As I move to hit the other Danish troops. And there is the large truce ending with everybody that was in the Protestant League, of course. Not that any of those matter to us, but there, unfortunately, I was apparently duped. Because there are the 12k troops of Denmark moving back, apparently. I don't know, I think that is a misclick to send my large fort up north, because we're going to be way too late to do anything about this. Yeah, the better idea is to just carpet siege and see what we can do. Oh, because probably... I missed that actually in this after action report. I didn't even realize that the Danish had given up the siege at Moskva. Then it is useful to go here. and in fact do battle with them. Yeah, these troops are dead. We all know it. We know they're dead. But still, I want to continue on a little bit. Oh, misclick there as well. With carpet sieging, whatever I can still carpet siege from Sweden, and getting out of this war very quickly, because it's starting to be a nuisance that the Danish troops can move around very, very freely. Take whatever the heck they want as an engagement, much like I am doing within Muscovy's territory with the Danish troops. And destroying thereby my units and getting some war score. That battle was against 1.1, and they got 0.3 war score for that. My attack is against 12k, so you would expect that to be more important. There it is, 1.22. So in the end, I do think that we are doing better than they are. But yeah, this is a little bit of a weird dance with the Danish troops around this area. There we go. And let's see if we can get Sweden to peace out. I don't want to give all the lands that actually are part of Novgorod, and I suggest you never do that. Always keep one terrain available, and if you are certain that you're going to do another war, and I am, because we're going to form Russia, Novgorod's going to be our vassal, then you at least have a claim that you can fight for without needing to make one. And of course, you can't make a claim bordering your vassal, and that's something that I also feel used to be available as an option and no longer. But yeah, now that it isn't anymore, and we saw, I think we've actually seen that in this playthrough that we tried that. So nowadays it is a good idea. So place a relative on the throne. Lithuania, unfortunately, gets a little uppity about it. It's 54% loyal right now. But get a royal marriage done. Now that is at least one of ours. Then it's 45% chance, or 45% liberty desire. That's the word I was looking for. So now we should be very quickly able to tell them, hey, become Orthodox. And then we get a nice annoying event. And this is perfect. I decide at first to go through Wenden, because if they go into Latgalia, I assume that they can't move, because that is a fort that's ours. You can't really move away from that fort, right? No, they can. Despite going into vassal territory. I'm like, wait a second. But yeah, that was one that I can't explain. This feels to me like the AI cheats. Like, how are you able to move away from that fort into other territory, towards another fort territory? I have to remind you, actually I have to say, to be precise. And then just go like, yeah, we can move there. It doesn't matter that the fort guards that, we will do that. Unless a capital of a nation doesn't matter, villainous? I don't know. But let's see what we... Here I'm going to make a peace deal, giving as many of the cores I can go back, actually countering what I said. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm going to get much more in this land to Novgorod. So basically I am coming back on my word. But yeah, this is too much, unfortunately, so we won't take that. But it gives us a nice little barrier that Muscovy can't attack a very weak Sweden. And say like, we want some terrain on that, because on the north side that's still Norway. And that is still protected, if you will, by Denmark. So we're just gonna go with this, giving Novgorod some nice, sweet territory back. In fact, they now gain territory they never had, but I think that is a good idea. Of course, it is a little border gory with that little enclave that they have in Luki in our terrain, but hey, it has now Vyborg and Priozersk. Why do I even try? Now they have two forts there that could block Denmark very nicely if they would come down here. So I am a-okay with that. Giving us a nice blocker from the north against Denmark. As we are going to try and clean up this mess that we got. Well, I say mess, but let's face it, it's still 21% war score in our favor. It's not really a mess, it's just been a bit of a slow slug with some you could say possibly some bad decisions by me, but you know, I'm the leader of the country, so we're just gonna say that there were unfortunate circumstances that prevented our great nation's armies from properly executing the war plans as they were relayed to them by the Duke of the Grand Principality of the Russian Grand Principality of Ryazan. It would have been cooler if I said that without a lot of and things in between it, but there we go. Wiping out another little stack of Denmark, doing pretty good. And because a lot of the terrains we just gave to Novgorod are cores, they won't have to core a lot, so they shouldn't get too much of a rebellion, which is nice. And I guess, of course, the Danish troops are now in the north trying to undo the thing that we just did. But hey, I think this is still quite excellent. And that is a troops timer check for Muscovy. I know I am hovering over another land, but all of those nations, well, they were pieced out during the Catholic League, and Muscovy actually a little earlier thanks to Austria. So basically I'm considering, you know what, this war, it's fine, we'll siege it down a little bit, but I am not too interested in doing this war for a lengthy amount of time, because my target is Muscovy. Muscovy needs to go down, because they are blocking us from forming Russia. We did that in the very beginning by doing something very, very sneaky. And now we're going to do that back to them. And yes, the penalty to technology is now so bad that I'm willing to go a little bit into the idea. Besides, we're at 13-12. And I think that is good enough to go ahead and get some idea groups in the military side of things. There you go. For some reason, the Danish troops have moved away again. I say thank you, and do not feel bothered by that movement. Maybe they have realized that perhaps having a Baltic colony next to one of their rivals isn't that great anymore. And although we have +200 relationships, we don't have +200 relations in improved relations. So we're just gonna improve that, as Novgorod is very happy about the fact that they just gave some of its provinces back. So I think I can definitely then take Novgorod itself, their old capital, in order to form Russia. But yeah, I can also see that the relative army power of all vassals is starting to grow a little bit too much in comparison to what I like. For this to be a safe condition that we cannot have all the vassals grow eternally. Basically, as I said before, as soon as I can give Nizhny Novgorod to Kazan, I will give it to them and tell them to core it and immediately start integrating them. Because coring goes faster than the entire integration, and then we will leave the nation of Kazan behind, which is unfortunate because it was a good vassal giving a lot of troops. Novgorod hasn't moved in any interest at all. And yeah, Poland has actually survived the Bohemian attack because they forced them back to being Catholic. Which is fine by me, because I will force them back to Orthodox. Probably in the same way that I vassalize them, because both of them will be low enough then war score that I can do something about that. And yes, we currently have too many diplomatic relations, but one of them is Muscovy, and I can just tell Muscovy, hey, I would like to cancel my access for you. Because I am not really worried about the fact that my main army is now in Danish lands, and then after that will be in Novgorod lands. It's where the main fighting for this war will take place. And I don't really want to lose a lot of diplo power, so that's fine. And I'm just gonna wait until I have that idea group finished for 2 additional relations, because that will give me the nice Polish vassal. And then we can do whatever the heck else we want. I think it actually is 2 additional slots. Maybe it's only 1. I can't remember out of the top of my head, but heck, We also are starting to plan to incorporate Kazan. And actually here Denmark seems to have gotten access from Muscovy because they are moving into their territory. So we are going to leave behind some siegers as my army is going to check where the heck they're going and be ready to counter any attack they might will. And then the end of religious turmoil in Austria. We had saw in the last episode had gone reformed. Which, for me at least, is a very unique sight. I've never, or maybe once, seen them switch religion. But the one time that I think I saw them switch religion was also when they were not the Austria you see now, but were like a minor state of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 provinces. They had been busted up badly. And yeah, I think I was involved. I think I played Bohemia or something. A Hussite Bohemia. Oh, let's see here. Searching for Danish troops. But maybe we're just gonna stop this war as soon as, there it is, a rebel falls, because that is the fort we need in order to have some claim this area. And fortunately, this weird thing happens that I have to walk around towards Ozo, and I'm a little bit like, why do I need to walk all the way around here now? Because I have the fort. There is a connection. It doesn't feel like that will be needed. This is not just some people moving around, possibly. But I don't want to lose more of armies during this war. So neither do I want to get a corruption. So we're just going to have to move some base tax around, which is annoying because Bells then gets 25% autonomy increase, which autonomy increase is not something I like to see down here in the former Polish territories. But then again, apparently it already had a high autonomy, so we're just gonna have to eat that. And we can't decrease autonomy, of course, because we are at war. A lot of things are blocked during war, which some of them I think, like, why would that be blocked? Like, common nation governmental systems still have to continue during a war. You can't just not tell them, like, sorry folks, I have a cousin of a cousin that's fighting somewhere in Revel and Narva, and because he's doing that, I'm just too distracted to help you out. I'm really sorry, but yeah, we can't do that. Please come back next month. Maybe we'll then have ended the war millions of miles away, or kilometers, depending on the system that you're using. I'm not actually sure. I think it's kilometers in Russia. I'm pretty sure there's not at least miles, but I'm not sure if they have a different system than the common European system. But yeah, I got sidetracked for that little weird quip with a would-be cleric sitting at a desk of Ryazan telling, sorry dude, can't do it. Hey, and now they've gone all the way up north there for those troops, and I can't move into Ozel because ship movements, and I get fed up with that very, very quickly. I would love to weaken Denmark by giving lands back, but I don't really need that to Sweden. And unfortunately, this is too much, so they are not okay with giving this land away. In fact, they are not okay with that by far. In fact, if I even tell them, hey, what would you suggest? They're not okay with it, and it actually empowers, in that case, Sweden. And I'm like, that's not what I want. So now it is time to see, as per usual, that good old game that we know in EU4. What's the peace deal gonna be? Guess the right peace deal and you get 10 channel points. You can spend those channel points at this channel and no other channel of your choice. But hey, they're channel points. And if you want to know what those channel points means, well, you will be one of the first to own those channel points. So you can boast to your friends that you know this small little YouTube channel where you got the channel points because you knew what the peace deal was gonna be. I think somewhere along the line I've lost my mind, but I lost my mind a long time ago. I was always this type of clown. I just don't normally tend to do that, as we see a lot of forces moving up in the north. As I try one more time for Vassals, because that is a piece of land I would love to grab in this peace deal, just to get rid of this annoyance that I can't move over. But yeah, it's time to block them up in the north. It's a big army. As I try once more into the breach. But it just... Those ships, they can't decide on what they want. They stop me by moving for a moment in, and then they stop like, no, it's not important. And for some reason I can't... It says hostile movement blocked by enemy fort. But there is no hostile fort in Vassals because its revel is ours. It makes no freaking sense. At least to me it doesn't. I don't see what the issue is doing. Riga is not in this war, which lies... Oh, by the way, it's the Gulf of Riga, not Gulf of Vassals, as I previously mentioned. But it's not a war. It's not a hostile fort. It can't block that. Maybe they mean the fort in Gotland? Because that also lies in the northern Baltic Sea. But if that would be true, that would be really, really crappy. Because how in the heck are Gotland's fort gonna tell, no, you can't move there? I think that this is just a UI bug, and it is about the ships who finally decide at this moment to move away as they are trying to siege Viborg and think, hey, that's what we now can take. But then they decide against it, and their army splits up in several directions as I move in to just crush a small stack and see if I can gain a little bit of war score, a little bit of war exhaustion on them. After all, we have ticking war score anyways. Dorpat is ours. And that is the war target of this particular fight. But yeah, once again, we are kind of interested in saying no. Not being in this war for too long. As we still want to get it. And yeah, their Vassal is like, you cannot take this, you don't own the nearby fort. So I guess it's Gotland. I just now realized for the very first time. They're also not willing to split off Livonia. Which would be equally type of good peace deal for me in the sense that I would then fight Livonia for all the claims of Lithuania. And I'm certain that they are not going to get good enough alliances to take. But on the other hand, you know, I can also attack them later and do this. Which is blocking Muscovy entirely off the Baltic coast line. Meaning that Muscovy won't get a lot of ships. And maybe one day we will get some ships. So we'll take this peace deal and get ready for a new war. But yeah, we are coming to the end of this episode. Been a bit too long, but yeah, I always want to finish wars up if I can, and seems like it can be done in the same episode. But for now, I say, I thank you for watching, and remember, great peril yields great beauty.